Hey everyone, welcome back to Aussie Med Truths. So I've had a long hiatus and I realised that, but I've been getting lots of questions through emails, comments, etc. and I figured it's about time that I got back to it. So, more about where I've been coming at the end of the video, but as to where I'm at now, let me show you. So I'm in the first proper block of my final year of medicine, 4th year at Sydney University. This year starts off with an elective, which normally we would do overseas, but because of COVID, we all had to do it in Australia. So I picked something kind of convenient and relaxed in psychiatry nearby, and it actually ended up being a really chill elective and got me interested in psychiatry. My current block though is Paediatrics. This involves some really long days getting up super early. I didn't have to get up quite this early, however, I couldn't sleep anyway, so I figured I'd get started on the day. We've got to be at Children's Hospital Westmead, which means I've got to get up probably an hour at least before I need to be there, and then add on any extra time that I need for getting ready. The day usually starts somewhere between 7 and 8:30 a.m. I've never had quite so full days in medicine, but that being said, when you really embrace the grind, I think you get a bit more fulfillment out of it. So despite it being the most intense block so far, I'm enjoying it the most as well. That being said, burnout is a real thing, something that maybe I'll talk a bit more on in another video. As for an explanation of this block, it's an 8-week block, which most of our blocks in 3rd and 4th year are. That being said, there is a change to the SMP curriculum, which I can go into more in another video. However, in this block, we've got 3 placements that are each 2 weeks long, and then we have 1 week of lectures and workshops, and then 1 week of exams. My first placement was in adolescent medicine, my second placement was in neurosurgery, and my final placement will be in respiratory. But in this week, I did the lectures and workshops. A number of the lectures were really good. Essentially, it's a flipped classroom structure, which means we watch all of our lectures ahead of time, and then we come in and the lecturers like to go through cases and get us to recommend our differentials, how we think this should be treated, what we think we would do to investigate it, and we go through the cases like that. We did this a bit in first year, and it honestly was not very helpful because we didn't really know much. However, it's awesome to see that in 4th year we've really progressed and have a better understanding of diagnostic medicine. The workshops were pretty useful as well. There are a couple here and there that were a bit not the best, but the course is always being improved upon and some changes have to be made when staff are away, so that's understandable. Some of the workshops we did were really valuable though, things like having dummies that have realistic cardiac murmurs that we can listen to and start to really understand what we're listening to, going through it with an explanation with one of the professors. We had workshops on making asthma plans, which are really important for kids, and other things like charting fluids, which maybe isn't the most useful thing given that nowhere really has paper charts anymore and we're going to do it all digitally, but sometimes when digital systems go down, you need to rely on these, so it's worth having done it once. When I get home, it's time to walk the doggo. I neglected him a bit the first year and a bit that I had him. I did train him, but I didn't do much leash training, so now I'm putting in special effort to go for a short walk with him every day and really focus on that. I also try to get some exercise in every day, obviously for fitness, but also for mental health and getting a break from study. I like to do things like weights at home. I've got these dumbbells that have easy lock features, so I don't have to waste time constantly screwing things on and off. I also like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, mixed martial arts. I'm trying to get into wrestling a little bit this year, although my timetable's a bit full on during this block. But other things as well, like bouldering, are a great way to break up the monotony of study sometimes. Feel free to critique my form as well. I'm pretty sure it's horrible. It looks horrible to me. Now, after I've gotten home, I've walked the dog, I've done some exercise. I had to rush straight to the Sydney Uni Sports and Aquatics Centre because my club, the Wrestling and Grappling Club, are holding an AGM this night. That's where we vote in the new committee members. If you're a university student, you probably already know how these things go. It was a really good turnout actually. We had a lot more people applying for positions and a lot more positions filled than what we've managed to get previously, but it's been improving exponentially over the last couple of years. Unfortunately, we didn't have anyone that was quite right for the president position, which is what I was holding last year, so I've rerun for that and we'll be holding that again. With any luck, we'll be able to get somebody ready for it in time for next year, as I'll be an intern and really doubt that I'll have time to do all of that. Nonetheless, went out for a celebratory pie. Now you can see why with all of this going on, it's really hard to get in the study that I need, so I try to fit it in where I can using things like Anki and Amboss on my phone. Makes things really convenient when you don't want to be getting out a laptop on a train or a bus, or if you're walking somewhere you can get a few questions done. Having such a full-on schedule, you can see how it would be easy to get burnt out, and that happens really abruptly. It's something I wouldn't mind making a video on at a later date, but essentially I do a couple of things to try and break up my study, things like I try to meditate every day, I try to get some exercise in like I already said, doing other things like walking the dog and staying involved in social things like the committee and the club. This part's probably a little bit corny, but when I feel myself dropping down a little bit, or if it's early in the morning and I'm not really ready for study and need to pick me up, I'll listen to some motivational podcasts to try and keep me inspired. Like I said, cheesy, but hey, it works for me, and at the end of the day, if you find something that works, I say go for it. Don't worry about what people will think. This video is probably already getting quite long, so I'm gonna stop talking about what I've been up to and talk a bit more about what I want to do. Now, it might not be a surprise to anyone, but med school is actually quite difficult. So while I originally started this channel and made these videos in a hope that I could keep up a hobby whilst still managing to review things, so that way I wouldn't be wasting time, unfortunately I just found that with the intensity of med school and the lackluster amount of review I was getting making these videos, it just wasn't worth it to keep it up. I figured I'll put it on the back burner, I'll focus more on the books and the questions, and I'll come back to this another time. Now I'm thinking, I actually really enjoy making these videos, and if you don't make time for the things you enjoy now, your schedule is just gonna get more and more hectic later. So I wanna come back to this, I wanna start making videos again, but this time it's not gonna be purely about me trying to review things. If at all, it's gonna be more about me doing something that I enjoy. In order to fit it in though, I do have to do it more casually. So these videos, maybe similar to my last one or two, will be a bit more casual in the sense that the editing is probably not going to be quite up there. I'm also going to be filming it on my phone and trying to edit it on my phone so that I can just do it on the go whenever I got some time. Now, like I mentioned at the start, I have been getting questions, comments, emails in regards to other things related to med and getting into med. Some of these include, how do I get a really good grade on anatomy spot tests? That one I'm happy to make a video about because I found it actually quite simple and straightforward, whereas a lot of other tests I really struggle with. So I'm gonna make something on that at some point, hopefully. Also had questions about GAMSAT, what it's about, how you prepare for it. I didn't think that I did super well on the GAMSAT compared to some like crazy geniuses, but I also know that there are some people out there that are struggling way more than me. So I think probably for my next video, I'll start going into some tips or at least an explanation of how I prepared for that. Nonetheless, if you have ideas or things that you want to hear about med school, life in general, getting into med school, being a doctor, all of that sort of stuff, anything you think that I can help with or give you my input on, definitely leave a comment, email me. I've got a Facebook page which I should start to activate again, so you can leave messages there, and with any luck I'll get a video out soon. Hopefully I'll have these videos out once a week, but we'll see how I go. I'll see you soon.